when you're looking at your tombstone, it has your name, it has, pretty decorations, beloved this, da da da. But there's three key things that's on there: your sunrise date, your sunset date, and there's a dash. The thing I always love to talk about when it comes to those three key elements, for me, it's the dash. The dash is your legacy. Take this journey with me. Let's define it. Let's build it. Let's live it together. What's going on, guys? It's Kevin B. the Brand, and welcome back to Dear Legacy. This is episode 6, and it's only right that we did something in honor of Valentine's Day, right? Um, you know, I didn't grow up in a house that said I love you, right? It wasn't normal. Not that it was hostile or anything. It was just a quiet, unspoken type thing, to be honest. Really, I did have to teach myself how to love. We talk about it all the time, the playbooks of certain things and not having certain role models, right? So it wasn't no playbooks that was handed down. You literally just did not see it. And this is not even a lack thereof because there was no father in the house, so we didn't see it molded at the time. For the longest of time, I didn't even know that it was something that I was missing, right? But life has a way of just teaching you, whether it be in through relationships that stretch you, through losses that humble you, through the moments where you're either supposed to break or grow. And now when you sit down and you think about it, you're a husband and a whole ass father. That's when I finally realized and understood what love really is, right? It's not just about the word or the words being said. It's more so about the discipline of the matter. It's about being consistent when it's still inconvenient for you to do so. It's leading with your heart when your pride wants to speak louder, right? The ego. Ego wants to scream all over the place. But to be honest, I had to learn how to love myself before I could truly, really share the love that I have as a husband. Because as a father, that love is different. It just comes naturally, right? Or should come naturally. Um, but when you're on this journey teaching yourself, you get to learn how to show up as not just a husband and a father, but there's a different type of love that you got to put out there also, where you're showing up as a brother, a son, an uncle, the friend, not necessarily out of obligation, but out of choice. Because you want to be that man. I want to be that man. The one that pours into people, the one that is not just about to protect necessarily, but how are we nurturing into these relationships that we're giving our unconditional, no obligation love to? The ones who tell the people in life, I got you, and truly mean it, right? Because a lot of people say, I got you. You say, I got you in passing. But to say, I got you to somebody that you truly love, that's a different I got you. That kind of love is intentional, it's present. And this is, me, I'm always telling you, I ain't like I know it all. I sure enough don't, because I'm still learning along the way. But I for damn sure came a long way as well. This episode is for anybody who had to teach themselves how to love, or still trying to learn how to love, or have not figured out a way of how to love, but at the same time still deciding to show up anyways. We gotta understand that the showing up and being consistent is the hardest part of it all, and we're choosing to do it day in and day out. I want to hit on a few segments today that if you really dive a little bit deeper into it, these 5 segments for me changed the trajectory to who I am right now and who I'm still developing to be. by choice. Not because I have to, but because I want to. One of the hardest things I had to learn was how to love out loud, especially when you didn't grow up seeing it. Because I told you, I grew up in a household that wasn't keen on telling you, I love you. Not because they didn't, but it was more of a silent thing, right? They did it. We see it all the time in movies and shows of past generations. And I ain't that far off. I ain't that old. That generation was just right there. Saying I love you early and often and meaning it was something that I intentionally wanted to make sure was part of my household as a husband and as a father. Choosing to show affection and softness, for me, I had to learn is not necessarily a weakness. No way does that make you weak. If anything, it makes you stronger. But the way you do that is by actively listening and learning, not shutting down. I'm trying to think. Am I still big on that? No, I've gotten better because I don't like the whole confront confrontational. Jesus, I couldn't even get it out. Now, do I lose my temper outside of my household? And I don't play when I'm outside, but inside the household, I had to realize that's a different world, right? I had to realize that I have to actively listen and not be so quick to shut down when I'm angry or my ego is trying to kick in, because you're telling these people that you love them, but the actions behind the words is what really transcends that love, because now you're not doing it out of obligation. You're doing it because you want to do it. I'm not going to sit here and just keep harping every episode about what I did not have, but what I did not have, or what I did not see, or the lack thereof, created what you're seeing now, what I'm developing now. Becoming a father made me realize and switch my mindset overnight. Overnight, it made me switch that mindset. Not because it was so drastically horrible, because I was growing throughout the whole thing. Like I said, it's the relationships that you're in that's stretching you out, that's pushing you to the brinks along the way, not seeing and not having and wondering, when it's my turn, how am I doing this thing? And then the moment it happens, it's like, it's that unconditional love. But it's that unconditional as a father. That love as a husband, where you're choosing and showing up. You do it for both, but it's different levels to it, right? Becoming a father made me realize love was more about being seen and felt. The words are cool, but seeing that, that's how we were raised in the generation before. It was more of a, hey, they're not saying I love you on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, maybe special occasions, maybe. But it's one of those things where they shown you. Some will say, well, that's their duty, that's their job, by giving you your needs, your basic necessities. But when they start skipping over into the wants, when they're showing up, when they're rearranging things, that's the difference, for me at least. And that's what I harp on when I'm going through this journey. It's about showing up consistently. I say this often. Kanan's never gonna not know how I feel about him, because I tell him and I show him. That's the part that we really need to really focus in on when we're growing and we're developing on how to love, right? It's not just telling the person, it's actually showing up for that person. And showing up means different ways, right? For me, I'm thinking I'm showing up by being a coach for Caden, and showing up to the games, and being at PTA meetings and parent conference teachers. I don't miss a thing. The doctor's appointments, all that other good jazz, right? But to him, what he's going to value and really remember showing up for him is when we're sitting on a couch and he's on his iPad and he's showing me about the new building that he just built inside Minecraft, or watching the latest TV show that he's stuck on, BFDI, or now he's into Abbott Elementary, Stranger Things. That's the part that, for what I realize, is me showing up for him. Not just telling him, not just buying him whatever he wants, spoiled brat. But it is what it is. That this is how I'm showing up. This is how I'm doing it out loud, not just in silence, not with just the cues, not leaving it for you to guess, or say, yeah, I'm pretty sure they love me because they do X. How many X's are we putting out there behind, like, he loves me because he does X? I'm trying to get Y, Z, A, and switch it all the way back to A and come right back down again. That's how much I'm showing up. That's how much I want to stay consistent. But to be honest, I could honestly say, with this segment, it's more about how love rewired me, right? At first, I was sitting there and I'm figuring out how to showing up love out loud, but now it's how it actually rewired me. Marriage and fatherhood didn't just change me; it literally rewired me, because I thought I knew how to love. I thought I knew what love really meant is, you buy things, you do things, you say the words. But sometimes saying the words and the buying and if you don't understand what the person is looking for, or what you're even looking for, or what your definition is, or how you're trying to show up, it could miss the mark. It could literally miss the mark. Because each one, we talk about all the time, and we see it all over social media, the five love languages, five love languages. The reason why it resonates so much with so many people is because five love languages, if you don't understand if you don't understand what the hell you want, there's, I'm not going to say it's a 0% certainty, but it's damn near close 0% certainty you do not know how to show up for the next. So how are you showing up and loving out loud? It's hard because you can't be consistent in that situation when you don't know you or the other. Now, for a child, it's a little bit different. Their love language is, they ask, they want, you give. Oh my God, they love. Hey, I need, I need, I need. Oh my God, he loves. He's saying it and he's showing it. But the real root for me, when I say love rewired me, it's because I've seen the progression. You know, the way I used to love, it's more about performance. It's about survival, and it's about the ego, right? What do you mean by that, Kev? Okay, let's think about it. Performance. We're doing it because you think that's what the person wants to see. You think that's what the person wants. You're doing it for the gram. Survival? That's, man, I don't want this thing to end. Let me just go do what I need to do just so that they can understand that, yo, I'm in it. I love them. The ego, you're saying and doing everything that you want the person to hear in order for you to get something back in return. That's the difference between unconditional love also. Is when you're doing it and showing up consistently, not necessarily looking for anything back in return. It should naturally just come back in return if you're doing the things that you want to do, because that's what that new love is about. It's about grace, healing, self-work, consistency. Everything you do in life, consistency is always going to show up. The same way I have to consistently sit here and do these recordings and put out content to get to that level that I'm trying to get to, you still got to do the same thing when it comes to love, when it comes to your mental, when it comes to self. One thing I could honestly say is Tiffany challenged the fuck out of me. In order to get to where I'm here, I needed to be challenged. You know what I mean? It's like it's not being challenged in competition. It's not being challenged because of what she wants. It's more so of a challenge of like opening up, digging deeper, showing me what it is that I was actually missing to realize what it is that I actually wanted. Ain't that crazy in itself? Somebody else had to actually show you what you was missing to realize what you actually wanted. You think you know what you want until you're actually getting something that's different outside of the norm. And then you're like, oh, damn, this is what I was looking for. So I guess this is my actual love language. Now it's easier for me to show up and love out loud because now I know me and I know I want that same love. I want to pour into you the same way you're pouring into me. Now, when it comes to that, that's how Tiffany rewired me. Then when you think about how Caden rewired me, he taught me that about presence. It's not just about what I went through or whatever. It's literally, I want to show up for you day in and day out, bro. It taught me patience. That's a type of love where like your kids is gonna teach you patience, boy. They're gonna try your nerves, boy. But you're gonna consistently keep showing up for them. That just adds to the toolkit on how you loving out loud, boy. And then there's the friend dynamics, right? There's situations that's out there where you're learning how to love through your friendships. You're learning how to love through how to being a better brother, being a cool ass uncle. If you think you are, I know I am. But you're showing up for your friends, showing up for family members, not when it's good, showing up when it's a little tough, being there for somebody. It's showing you a different side of you because when you can show some empathy towards others and not need something back in return, that rewires you in itself. Sometimes, it can get frustrated when you're the one that's always checking in, when you're the one that's always there for somebody else and you feel and you're still playing strong and tough and your ego's in the way. I ain't got no problems. I'm good. You're not good. Let it rewire you. The same way that you're there for everybody else, be there, let them be there for you as well. I'm not saying love fixed me, but it has me on this journey and this pathway of becoming the man I said I wanted to be. No longer the man that I was. We got to keep growing. We can't sit there and think that this is going to happen overnight. Like there was some secret behind this whole thing. You know, I, this part, is part of the rewiring that we're talking about, right? It's you technically had to learn that you was lovable too. Learn that you're lovable too. It goes back to knowing the inner you and what you want. What's your love language? How you want somebody to show up for you? I spent so much time trying to give love in different ways while learning and figuring out how I what I thought I wanted as love, I kept pushing on to others and not learning what others' love was, how they wanted you to show up for them, truly and honestly, right? And at the same time, I didn't realize how to really receive it neither, which is crazy in itself because you're sitting here you think you know what it is that you want. You think you know what it is that the other wants from you. But in reality, everybody could be wrong. What you want from me, what I want from you, we cross training. Now we mad. Now we upset with each other and all this other good. Ah, if you allow it to rewrite you, you're gonna get to that love out loud part. But the first aspect of it all is learning how to love you and learning that you're lovable too. It's two different things we're talking about. Learning how to love you is one thing, but learning that you're lovable too. We can't be negative, like we're gonna go through things in life where it's not gonna go right. Majority of the time it's gonna go wrong. I promise you. You're gonna think you love somebody. You're gonna think that's the person. You're gonna want to build and do everything under the sun, and it doesn't work. But we can't let that break us down. And then if it keeps happening, you're like, oh, is something wrong with me? No, it's not nothing wrong with you. It's just you haven't truly figured it out. And then now you're changing who you are. No, don't change who you are. Because the person that's out there, I honestly kind of believe, not full whole 100%, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, there is somebody for everybody. Are you gonna compromise a little bit? Sure. But you shouldn't change wholeheartedly everything that you are. I don't believe you should. You know, we touched base on this before, but as a black man, like most men, but even so more as a black man, we're taught to provide and perform. We're not here to be poured into. You ain't got time for that. You gotta go provide. You gotta go out there and be the best that you could possibly be. Go out there, go get it, and bring it back. Somebody pours into you, cool. But that's not necessarily how it's supposed to go. You already being beat down out there. When you come back in here, you need to be poured into. That's how you're getting re-energized to go back out there again. But that's a part of learning how to be lovable too. We pour into our kids, we pour into our spouses, we pour into our family. But you got to know that it's okay for you to be poured into. Let people in. Let them pour into you. Put the ego aside. Put the macho aside. You still could provide. You still could go out there and do all the stuff that you're supposed to do and perform at your highest peak possible. But know that you're lovable too. You earn that. You deserve that. You know, sometimes I get it. You don't want to accept love that comes with strings, right? That's the part where you're trying to figure out if this is truly some unconditional love, or is it like you're doing this because I could do this for you, which is what most situations are, why most men end up in certain situations. I'm supposed to do this. It don't matter if I'm not getting that back. Now somebody's reliant on you and you feel like it's your duties, but you're not getting nothing back to fulfill you. You're not being poured into the way you're pouring into that other person. And let's not get this twisted. Performing and providing is not pouring into. That's just what you're supposed to do. This ain't even a societal thing or anything like that. You're supposed to put your 10 toes down and go out there and go get it. But that don't mean that you're not supposed to receive something back also. And that don't mean because you're doing that, you automatically get all of this. Topic for another day. Because I do believe a lot of us men believe that just because we're doing this, this, and this, look, I'm checking this box, I'm checking this box, I'm checking that box, then I'm entitled to this. Why are you not doing this? And we all know what this is. Topic for another day. Sometimes being fully loved means being seen. And we don't feel seen sometimes. For whatever reason, you feel like you're not being seen. It ain't easy. That's where resentment starts to creep in. That's when you stop doing what you're supposed to do and you feel as though you're not supposed to be loved in that manner. But you are. Accept the love that you're getting. If it's the right love for you. Not every love is for you. Some people just don't know how to love you right. That don't mean they're evil. That don't mean they're wrong. They just don't know how to love you right. But you got to know how to love you right too. You got to sit down and have those conversations like, yo, this is what I need. What do you need? Am I even pouring into you the way that I'm expecting you to pour into me? And by pouring into me, what does that even look like? I don't think a lot of us are even having these conversations. And then we sit there and we get mad at our spouse. We get mad at our friends. We get mad at our sisters, at our brothers. We get mad at the uncles or the parents. You can't be mad if you never said nothing. You can't be mad. And when I say said nothing, don't wait till you're angry and y'all in an argument and now everybody's throwing everything at each other's face. Do it when y'all happy. Do it when it's calm. Do it when you're just sitting there watching TV. That's the best time to tell somebody how you really feeling. Because when you're in an argument and you're going back and forth with that next person, bro, ain't nobody listening to what you got to say. They're not gonna take into account that how you feeling. They're not taking into account that you're being vulnerable. They're not taking into account that this is what you did. Because you waited till we arguing. Now it seems like it's tit for tat. I used to do that. I probably still do that from time to time. I'm gonna bring it up. You're mad at me. Let me tell you about you. Mm, you're not gonna get nothing out of that. But when y'all in a good space, when you're in a quiet space, when nothing's going on, when nobody's mad at each other, that's the perfect time. Fellas, we deserve that. If you're doing what you're supposed to be doing and you trying to get that checklist done on the other side, you got to know you deserve it as well. But it ain't no guarantee just because you're doing this, I'm supposed to get that. Life don't work like that. You wouldn't want it done like that to you. Well, I'm doing this. Why aren't you doing that? We're on a tit for tat schedule. I kind of touched it before. And love ain't loud. You want to love out loud, but it's not really loud. It's just about being consistent. A lot of us think, yo, I got what we be saying? If it ain't on the gram, it ain't real. Come on, stop. Some of the best relationships, you'll never even know what's going on. You don't see nothing about them. You don't hear nothing about them. I'm not saying I am not one of those people who don't post nothing on the gram. Be organic, be authentic, be you. You posting every day, cool. But you ain't got to be loud about it. Long as you're consistent with it, that's all the loud that you need. It's screaming from the mountaintops when you're consistent with it. Because that person feels it. That person knows that, yo, every day, without fail, that person gonna tell me they love me. Every day, without fail, that person gonna show me what those words mean to them. And so, yo, secret. Sometimes it's as simple, hey, you ate already? That right there changes the dynamic of somebody's thought process because you're thinking about them. Something as simple as that. That's loving out loud. But sometimes you gotta be rewired to think about that and not be thinking about yourself only. You're no longer in survival mode. Sometimes it's about those check-ins and follow through. When you're talking about consistency and loving to get to that love out loud. I just kind of checked on this. I talked about it. Those check-ins matter. Not when you're in an argument, not when you're mad, not when you're in your feelings, but just a simple check-in. Y'all in the car together, cut the music off for 2 seconds. Yo, how you doing? Everything good? Because I'm pretty sure you're going to learn something in that moment. You're like, oh, damn, I didn't even know that was going on. And then you start a conversation and be like, yo, I'm good, but the other day you had said X or you had done Y. And it rubbed me the wrong way. I'm not gonna start an argument about it because, we're picking our battles. We're taking our ego out the situation. Now watch that person change. Because you didn't wait to tell them when you was in an argument. You waited to tell them when things were cool. Not good, not great. When things were cool. You checked in. You show by checking in and showing that through that's that quiet I love you. Quick text. Hey, how's your day going? You know your person be going through it at work. Yo, you got this. Don't even worry about it. Or sometimes just sit there and listen. Some people just want to vent, man. The consistency part when you're talking about your children though, and your peoples. Let me tell you the children one real quick, because what they see is how they're gonna develop, right? This is how you're adding to that foundation that we talked about. But it's not just within your spouse and your children. How are you showing up and being consistent with others? Because at one day, hopefully it's a long days away from that, you're gonna go 6 feet under. We're all destined. That's the one guarantee of life. We're destined to go 6 feet under. From the earth we came, the earth we go. And I said this before back in the day when I first started doing speaking and talking about this legacy thing. They could pretty up your tombstone all you want. I'm jumping off track real quick, but I'm gonna get back to it. It'll make sense, I swear. When you're looking at your tombstone, it has your name, it has, pretty decorations, beloved this, da da da. But there's three key things that's on there. Your sunrise date, your sunset date, and there's a dash. The thing I always love to talk about when it comes to those three key elements, for me, it's the dash. The dash is your legacy. The dash is how you were consistent in life. The dash was when you showed up for the people around you, your son, your spouse, your child, your children, your friends, your family. That dash says the most about everything else. You can make that tombstone all pretty all you want, but if you were not a lovable person, or you didn't show up consistently, when you was tired and annoyed and all you could do was just be angry and you could never remove your ego out that situation, that's what that dash represents. That's a difference of why some plots have some big old floral arrangements, if people could afford it, or tree limbs and dead leaves and all that other stuff. What's your dash represent? Your dash, that dash has so much to do with love and consistency, you don't even realize it. You could have your name on 10,000 buildings. Cool. You'll have a big old monument, headstone, but your dash is going to say more about you than anything else. Some won't care. But if you know how to love you and how to love others and show up consistently, that's showing love out loud. But not only out loud, but consistent. Legacy, love, it ain't just about a moment. It's the rhythm. It's the heartbeat. It's what makes a soul go. It's what makes you go. It's what energizes. Like I told you, it re-energizes you sometimes, and allows us men to go back out there and take it. Go become that. Go become that provider, the protector, the person that's just gonna keep showing up consistently for everyone, but understanding how he wants others to show up for them. Doing it without thought of what am I gonna get out of it. It's crazy because I'm getting ready to wrap up a little bit also, because I don't like going on too much of rants unless you listen to my sports show. But here I want to hit you with the stuff and just leave you with it. Because love looks like a brotherhood also. I think that's one of the biggest things that we fail once we figure out how we want to be loved, how we're pouring in, how we want to be poured into, and how we're going to pour into others, and learning how others, and when I say others, I'm talking about like your spouse, we're talking about your children, we're talking about your family that you were born into and all that. But one thing we lack sometimes is that brotherhood love. I'm not talking about romantic love, but in the way that you show up for your brothers. Those of us that are trying to figure out this thing and we all got that ego. You could line up 10 of us. You're probably gonna get the same answer. Oh, things are good. We out here maintaining. We trucking along. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I'm good, bro. Stop. You know how many times I said I'm good, bro? And there's so much storms going on inside me. There's so much things that I'm at a loss for. I'm trying to figure out. Well, all I had to say, yo, I'm not that good right now. This is a situation. If these are your brothers and you can't be vulnerable with them, find another brother. Find another circle. We need to love on each other. As black men, we got to love on each other, brother. I told, yeah, I say it not every day like I do with Tiffany and Kaden, but I tell my brothers, love you. Sometimes getting off the phone, all right, bro, love you. And to be quite honest, I'm not gonna say here like I was the most forward-thinking person. I don't even know who even started. I remember the first time I heard another man told me they love me, and we was just cool and we was boys, like on the phone, right? Like when you with each other and all that shit, you don't usually hear on the phone another man telling a man, "Hey, I love you, bro." When you're getting off the phone, that should do it. I wasn't the first to do it. I'll tell you that much right now. I am not that. I but again, it goes back to stuff that you was told was not norm. But one thing I love about me and my circle is we like breaking the norms. We out here breaking curses. We out here changing what society thinks. We're out here thinking what we think. Fuck a society. What we think. How our peoples think. And now I'm starting to realize that in our brotherhood, we're more and maybe because we're fathers and we're now rewired. We're loving out loud and consistently, and by loving out loud, it's not shouting. We're still quiet with it sometimes, but now we're doing those check-ins. Hey, bro, we ain't link up in a while. Then when we link up, it's not talking about stupidity. One of us gotta be pulling shit out of each other. Hey, what's going on, bro? I know you was going through this, or you just started that. You got this new venture that you're working on. How's the venture going? It's a roller. Here's my prime example. Business is business. It's a roller coaster ride. You get to get ups and your downs. Man, that's so political. Tell them what it is, man. It's hard. There's days I'm sitting there and I don't know if I'm supposed to quit or not. They're going through the same things you're going through. You'll be surprised how many people in your inner circle that if you choose to be vulnerable with, if you sitting there showing that brotherhood love and you doing those check-ins and you actually telling the truth, I don't need all your business. And I think that's where we get it confused. Oh, I don't want nobody in my business, man. Man, that's your ego, bro. You ain't gotta give every little detail. You could give the surface level shit. And by the surface level shit, we could have a conversation. I don't need to have every freaking detail to know how to give my best sound advice that I could possibly give you. Or point you in a direction like, yo, I don't know that, but like, I know this bank out here, they got this new program. They giving out like small business loans. There's some grants out here. Hey, this is what you go in your relationship. Listen, I ain't no relationship coach or guru or whatever, but maybe you need to look at it from this angle. Maybe you need to look at it from this perspective. Or shit, I don't know what to tell you, bro, but maybe you need to go get a therapist. Maybe you need that third party. I'm saying all this because these are things that I could honestly say me and my inner circle have done that have changed who we are as individuals and as a unit. Ain't nothing wrong with telling that bro you love him. Ain't nothing wrong with being vulnerable with that boy and being some chatty patties on the phone for about 2 hours. That 2 hours just probably gave you the put the battery in your back that you needed. If you're on the phone with somebody for 2 hours, it ain't much gossiping that you probably doing. When I say chatty patty, it's just because dudes don't sit on phones for 2 hours at a time. And there's me and a couple of my inner circles, we could do that. Every day, no. But those are our check-ins, right? That's that text message that leads to a phone call. That's that thing where you're talking about like, yo, I got you. I could easily do that for you. Yo, just send me this. Cause you know who that's affecting? When we really think about it, when I look at my inner circle, a lot of us have boys. Some got daughters as well, but I want to say all of us have at least a son. What are we teaching them? They're watching also. They might be playing all that, but they see that we're sitting around a fire pit, smoking cigars, joking and laughing, having conversations. They're seeing what friendships look like. They're seeing how to love another man. We're holding space for accountability amongst each other, and while still showing the next generation that it can be done. You don't have to be afraid of it, bro. We're all out here building a legacy for our sons to see. Men can say, I love you, not to just their spouse and their children, but to their brothers. That's the part that I really want us to harp on as some men and black men, white men, no matter what it is, as men in general. We have to love each other. We have to let each other know that we're not out here alone. We ain't out here just walking through the wilderness by ourselves. Let me say this before I close. I didn't grow up around that kind of love that I give today. That's okay. It's all right. It's not wrong. I'm not saying it like I'm traumatized or some stuff like that. Mother did the best she possibly can. My sisters, they showed me love out loud without me even realizing it. One's a pit bull, one's a nurturer. Mostly. But they're both nurturers. They're both pit bulls. They don't play about me. And I think that's when I really started seeing how spoiled I was, how I was getting the love that I needed, that I wasn't receiving out loud, quietly. Well, one quiet and one loud, but love them both the same. I didn't always even know how to receive it either. I thought some things were just a given. That's what you're supposed to do. This is what I'm supposed to do. But somewhere along the way, I figured it out. I think. Because like I said, I'm still growing. I didn't figure it all out at once. But little by little, through the hard times, through the good times, the lessons, the people who didn't leave when it got too quiet, when it got too hard, the ones who loved me anyways without looking for anything in return. That's when I knew I had to show up different. I'm not talking about just Tiffany and Kaden. That's a given. They got that. They rewired me. They showed me how to love out loud and know that I'm lovable too. But I could still be even better for them, as crazy as it sounds. I want to be that kind of man who could look his family and friends in the eye and say, simply, love you. You ain't got to do it all mushy and all that stuff. I love you. Love you. And I back it up the way I move too. Because the words don't mean nothing without some type of actions, without some type of presence. Gotta be patient. Lord Jesus, you gotta be patient. Gotta remove that ego out the situation. You know, We talk about ego and all types of stuff all the time. But if you really trying to figure out what that love looks like to you, if you really trying to hit all, and this other out there, just prime example, when we talk about the love languages, they give us 5 love languages. And I know some of us probably read that stuff and be like, I'm some of this, I'm some of that. That's fine. Nobody said it had to be that one. And nobody said that those are the only 5. Along the way, you're gonna figure it out. But you can't what you're not gonna be able to do while you're trying to figure out is if you're staying quiet, if you're not being consistent. Show the love out loud. Allow yourself to be rewired. Learn that you're lovable too. Be consistent. Just like in everything in life, we gotta be consistent. Utilize your brotherhood or your sisterhood. This episode touched something in you. Don't tuck it away. Sit with it. If you gotta heal, heal. Speak it out loud. Because the next generation, I'm telling you, they're watching more. As much as we think that we're not, they're just playing, they're watching. They need to know that these type of men or these type of women showed up. It's not just about the pictures. I think a lot of us think by showing up, we got to be at the events, we got to be at the birthday parties, we got to do this, we got to do that. But actually showing up when it's not a birthday party. Speaking of, I got to go see my godson. He called me out because I'm not showing up. I'm not being consistent. Showing up at the birthday parties, that's what you're supposed to do. But go outside the norm. They need to know that you're there mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. The full you, the wholeness in you. They need the truth. But most importantly, they need us. Us showing up consistently, nonstop, when you're tired, when you can't, when the schedule's crazy and hectic. They need us. They need you. If this hit home, go ahead and subscribe to Dear Legacy. Drop a comment, follow the movement, and share with somebody who you know is doing the real work, trying to grow. We're not just out here building content, man. We're building legacy in real time. Reshaping the narrative. Next week, I sit down with my first guest on Dear Legacy. I know y'all probably tired of just seeing me. It ain't an ego thing. I just want to set up the foundation for you guys. I sit down with my very first guest on Dear Legacy. And it's only right my first guest be none other than my living legacy himself. That's right. I'm going to flip the mic. Well, I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to let him take the lead. But, I'm too much of a control freak. But I'm going to let him run the show. He asked, and I asked him later on. He had asked early on if he actually wants to be on all my shows. But I figured this is a good time to bring on as my first guest and bring on Caden. Let's have some fun with this, right? We've been serious, we've been buttoned up, we've been let's have some fun. And in the process, we're gonna learn some things also. He has his little questions that he wrote down. I got a couple questions. We're gonna keep this show interesting for you guys. It's gonna be real conversation, real love, real lessons. How you feel, how I feel. Trust me, it's gonna be interesting for sure. Till then, go define it, go build it, and go live it. It's your boy Kevin B. The Brand. Till next week. Peace.